The following is an excerpt from tonight's brand new episode of the Geekvolution Radio Hour, beginning at 7 p.m. Central Time on the Supervillain Network. Tonight, Vince and I talk about geeky interior decorating. Hope you can make it, and thanks for listening. Bryan Singer is talking a lot right now about wanting to do an X-Men Fantastic Four crossover, and if that ends up happening and it's awesome, then I'm going to be very happy that they're still at Fox, because what's going on with X-Men right now is as exciting or more exciting than what Marvel's doing, in my opinion.
I would not mind seeing that. That sounds like a crazy thing to me.
But it could be really neat, too.
You know, that's the thing, is that even...
Because then what you have is you have superpowered people that aren't mutants in that universe.
Yeah.
And that immediately gives you a really cool thematic thing to have to deal with.
Yeah. I like the idea of having one group. I like the idea of having a small group that gets some kind of PR. They're not mutants. They were humans. They were humans before, and everybody knew it.
But if it never goes back to Marvel, I'd kind of rather it cross over than be isolated by itself. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
That's the thing, is that Marvel's always kind of made a big deal out of the Fantastic Four X-Men crossover. Never happened before, but it's happened several times before. So why is it that whenever they put out a new one, they're like, hey guys, X-Men Fantastic Four?
I never thought about that, yeah.
And then I go, well, I mean, there's Ultimate X-Men Fantastic Four, there's the 90s X-Men Fantastic Four, there's the 2000s X-Men Fantastic Four, and also there's every time they've ever met each other in a universal crossover
of course.
That's happened since the inception of comics.
Sure, right.
So, sure, I find it entertaining. There was one where the Fantastic Four, the one that came out in the 2000s, was the Fantastic Four and the X-Men fight the Brood. Really, I thought it was really interesting, and it was a lot of fun.
But for the cinematic universe we have for X-Men, which is already sort of like a shared universe, because we've already had, Wolverine go his own way, and we're going to have a Gambit movie, we're going to have a Deadpool movie, and we're going to have all these different characters having their own movies and that sort of thing. Forgetting the way they did things in the comics and stuff, and remembering that a lot of your general audience that doesn't read comics, that is a novelty for them. Yeah. I think that this is a really neat thing, because something we've not seen on screen really before yet is... in comics 1,000 times, but something we haven't really got to see much on screen is somebody else's bad guy dealing with our heroes. I want to see Dr. Doom versus the X-Men of that universe. I think that's a really neat idea. I didn't think I cared about crossing these over until it occurred to me that you have a lot of X-Men history with space stuff. And some people don't like X-Men in space. But we've had 7 or 8 X-Men films now. We're about to get a whole slew more of them, and we haven't really dealt with any cosmic stuff with X-Men yet. And they have the opportunity now to do this is a talk that Eric and I, Eric, another regular contributor on our channel, talked about when we recently did a Future of X-Men video, and we talked about the idea that, and he brought this up. I didn't even think of it. Eric said, "Well, couldn't we have?" Despite the fact that before the soft reboot, we did this weird version of the Phoenix Saga, could we just do it straight now? Yeah, we could. We could just do it straight now. I mean, it would be a little bit weird that in the previous version of the universe, Professor X came up with this whole other thing, and they called it the Phoenix, but forgetting that, they could do the Phoenix thing, and they could have some of those cosmic things that they have the rights to that I wish Marvel Studios did, but they don't, and actually, exploit them and use them, and then do cool stuff with X-Men and Fantastic Four. They have a really neat universe that they just soft rebooted and made cooler. At least from what we can tell so far with the end of X-Men First Class, or Days of Future Past, I really want to see this. I think it could be really cool.
I could see that. If you put it into the Fantastic Four, which are based, they're space travelers anyway.
In their version of fighting Galactus, then you've got a whole bunch of heroes up against Galactus instead of just the Fantastic Four.
In order to satiate me, I mean, because that's what they're obviously sitting around thinking about, how do we satiate Vince of Geekvolution? And, what you do is you feed me a planet, and then I'm satiated. But I'll get around to something eventually. But in order to make me think that this is something that could happen or that I would accept, this first Fantastic Four movie needs to be just steeped in mutant hate. And people need to be scared of them. They need to be called mutants.
Well, they're not going to do that because they haven't even decided if they're crossing over yet.
So, because if these guys are born into the universe,
if they make it That's not fair, though, because the Fantastic Four movie, keep something in mind, okay? The Fantastic Four movie is set in probably something that will be very, very reminiscent of present day. Which means it is set after, if it's in the same universe, we don't even know yet. If they decide to set it in the same universe, which is a choice they will make post this movie, probably, it will have happened after the next X-Men movie and possibly other ones. Keep that in mind. We don't know what the status of mutants is, where they are right now, because the next X-Men movie is Apocalypse. It's set in the 80s. We just soft rebooted. We have no idea what the climate of mutant and human relations is right now. They could if it's peaceful, they could very easily get away with making a movie where it's never brought up. Also, if they spend most of the thing in a lab and they're not dealing with that they could very easily get away with never bringing it up.
You know, I mean, that was always something that's been kind of a big thing for the Fantastic Four is PR, public relations.
Yeah.
Getting in there are people knowing what's going on and not being afraid of the Fantastic Four, especially since they have a big rock creature on their team.
Yeah.
And so that's something that I'm always
you've already got bigotry with your rock creature and
because people are afraid of him.
Stigmas attached to that, yeah.
And, I mean, there's, of course, a fire guy, so you have this stuff that is kind of inherently scary, so you need to make people okay with it. If they use that in an upcoming X-Men movie to really tie this stuff together, where maybe it's not like out-and-out hate, but there's fear that these people are not known like the Fantastic Four are known.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That might be able to satiate me for the lack of the mutant presence in the first Fantastic Four
I don't
movie.
think you have to bring it up there for them to decide later to do it necessarily.
Yeah, I think you have a point. I just think they have to, not put all their eggs in one basket or whatever the term is.
Yeah.
And stir them up and make an omelet.
I think it's very likely that we don't have a giant scope of world in that, especially given all the extra dimensional stuff they're going to do.
Yeah,
and that kind of thing.
I would love to have a Fantastic Four movie set in space. I would like a Green Lantern movie set in space. That'd be cool.
So we've been talking a lot about Fantastic Four, and I really didn't expect us to go this long talking about this, so I'll mention another couple of news things really quick. Never before have we been 20 minutes into the show before I've said it's time for What's Going On.
What's going on?
And the only thing I really wanted to mention, we might talk briefly about one or two other things really quick, is that Channing Tatum is actually going to play Gambit, despite the fact that a couple days ago there was a rumor that we didn't think was a rumor that had come out that said that he had left the project, and all of a sudden that he was in limbo and they were going to have to cast somebody else. The very next day, not only was he playing him, but he's actually finally completely signed on, and they've got a contract, so he's definitely playing Gambit now.
Why do people like Channing Tatum?
I don't know much about him.
He has abs. I think that's it. I think that is it.
Is he a bad actor?
He is a horrible actor.
Okay, I'll look up a couple things and
I'll take that back. He did pretty well in 21 Jump Street, if you like that sort of thing.
I'm just glad that they finally cast it because the date slated for that movie is still next year. And the reason I really wanted it now, I mean, I don't know that actor, so I can't weigh in on that. But the reason I'm very
Duke and G.I. Joe.
The reason I didn't watch that.
Oh, okay.
The reason I'm very I didn't watch either of those. The reason I'm very interested, Vince, in Gambit coming out on time, or at least next year sometime, is because Fox will hold the record, and I'm so happy with them right now with the way they've been handling the X-Men. I think they deserve it. Marvel has not made 3 movies in 1 year yet, and of course, obviously, DC has not, and never in their history, even before they had shared universes, I think, have either of them done that. I'd have to go back and look at the at the years for some of the lesser known properties, where like technically based on Vertigo things and stuff like that. I don't think any of them have had a 3-year. If next year, and I know I sound like a sports analyst right now, but next year, if Fox gets Gambit out on time, we've got Apocalypse, Deadpool, and Gambit in the same year. I really want to see that happen.
Yeah,
I think it would be so cool if Fox got the record.
That's a very X year, man.
Isn't that neat? I mean, they have 3 X-Men movies in the same year, and they've never put out more than 1 in 1 year. We're going to have 2 spin-offs in the same year. I want to see that happen. I think that's such a cool thing. And and I'm saying this having not seen Apocalypse yet, but I was so happy with First Class, and I adored Days of Future Past, that I think they deserve it. I think Singer deserves it. I want to see that happen. That's very exciting to me.
Just the idea of Channing Tatum.
He can't get his mind around it. What if he's great?
I would love it if he's great, but here's the deal.
But you will eat your hat.
I will eat a hat that's edible.
I will eat a dark chocolate hat.
Sure, The thing about it is,
Do you like dark chocolate?
I do.
We've had this discussion.
I like dark chocolate more than milk chocolate.
Yeah, would you eat a whole hat? Would you eat a dark chocolate hat after wearing it on your head all day? That's the question.
I don't think I would eat that much dark chocolate worn on my head or not. I don't think I'd eat that much candy.
Would you eat that much sweaty chocolate?
It sounds like gastrointestinal distress. That's all I'm saying.
Anyway,
but
what are we talking about? It's right there. You
the thing. Oh yeah, I'll pick this idea.
Yeah, there you go.
The thing about Channing Tatum is that he has 2 speeds. This is his emotional range: speaking or not speaking. That is.
People said that about me.
And I might be kind of downplaying it a little too much. I mean, it might be like yelling and not yelling. Those are the 2 different speeds he has.
I've had that too. People said that about me as well.
and he has no facial emotion other than like maybe mild concern or constipation. And little do we know, Channing Tatum's like a huge fan of Geekvolution, and then he just shuts us down.
Yeah, he's not a fan anymore.
Sorry, guys.
He's like, yeah, well, you guys have 2 speeds too, on YouTube and not on YouTube.
Delete. That's the
You're
thing.
done. You got the radio show now and nothing else.
If Channing Tatum's great, whatever. That's fine. There are a lot of people that were saying, you think that the 10 things I hate about you guys is going to be great as the Joker? I'm like, I don't know. I'll watch it. Sure, let's see. And I was.
But you sound physically ill thinking about Channing Tatum.
I've never seen him in anything I liked.
You know what it really is?
What's that?
You just think the name Channing is a stupid name.
Oh, that's fair.
You just think Channing is stupid.
The thing about it is, I always get his first and last name confused. I'm like, wait, is it Channing Tatum or Tatum Channing?
Either one of them. Well, the problem with Tatum Channing is it sounds like a novelist, right? Like Tatum Channing sounds like a novelist that's writing political thrillers.
I like it.
Or
Mr. Channing, would you sign my book? You want me to sign it as Tatum or
like
Mr. Channing?
Court drama.
Court drama.
We're gonna go to commercial on that note, and we'll be right back.